Hello everyone and welcome. In this video I'm going to be going over my spring TBR. I'm a big mood reader and season plays a big role in that for me. I love having a seasonal TBR, but honestly spring is one that's a little bit harder for me. I don't feel as inclined to read seasonally during spring. But what I do tend to lean towards more in spring is contemporary romance, because I don't really read a ton of contemporary romance throughout the rest of the year, but for some reason during spring I just feel more in the mood for it than any other time of year. So there's more of that on this list than there would usually be on my seasonal TBRs. And also things for some reason like fae romantasy. There's quite a mix on this list. And a lot of it is just the description or the cover just kind of felt spring-like to me. And I also have a couple of series that I want to continue that I feel like would fit well in spring. Let's just go ahead and get started with the first book, which is Drive by Kate Stewart. And this is the first book in the Bittersweet Symphony duet. And this is a contemporary romance that has a playlist that we kind of are following along with as the story goes, which I think is a really interesting concept. And from what I understand, we are following our FMC who is in like a love triangle and is trying to decide between these two men. And the plot is her driving home, listening to this playlist that I was talking about, and we are trying to figure out who it is she is driving home to. I just think that's a really interesting idea. And I actually started this once and then I put it down, not because I wasn't enjoying it, I was, but I don't remember what it was. I think there was a book, a series that I was in the middle of that I just really wanted to continue and I just couldn't stop thinking about it. So I ended up putting this one down, but I definitely am wanting to try it again. And I do feel like I could be in the mood for it now. From what I remember, I feel like it would be a good book to read right now. And then for book number 2, we have Metal Slinger by Rachel Snyder, and this is the first book in the Fire and Metal series. And in this one, we are following Bryn, who has spent her life with the Alaha, even though she isn't one of them. And she has been training to be a guard and to have the opportunity to go to the annual market, which is hosted by the Kenta, that's who exiled her. And her loyalty is tested when her identity is revealed by a soldier who is meant to bring her back to where she belongs. And then her loyalty is further tested when she discovers the world of magic she has been denied. And she was once sure of where she belonged, but is now uncertain. And the cover of this one definitely looks spring to me. It could be summer too, but it feels spring to me. And I've heard pretty mixed reviews about this one, but I have been wanting to try it. It sounds like something I would like, so I'm gonna give it a shot. And I'm pretty sure book 2 comes out sometime this year, so I want to get to this one soon. And then book number 3 is going to be Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. And this is the first book in the Knock 'Em Out series. And this is another contemporary romance. This one is also Small Town. And in this one we are following Naomi, who is running from her wedding, and she's also running to rescue her estranged twin in Knock 'Em Out, Virginia. And her twin, Tina, takes off and leaves her 11-year-old daughter behind for Naomi to take care of. And then Knox tries to help her out kind of begrudgingly, but he does. And something about small town romance feels like spring to me. I think it has to do with if you've ever played Stardew Valley. At the very beginning, you start out in spring, you inherit your farm, and you are building up a life in this small town. So for some reason, small town just says spring to me now. And the cover of this one is also springy. It could be summer, but I don't know. Flowers to me say spring. And I've just had this one on my TBR for a while. I'm wanting to get to it, and like I said, contemporary small town romance is spring to me. Number 4 is Mile High by Liz Tomforty, and this is the first book in the Windy City series. And this is a series of interconnected sports romance. And in this one we have Xanders, who is a hockey player, and he is kind of like the villain that everyone dislikes and is always in the penalty box. And then we have Stevie, who is the flight attendant for their team. Once again, the cover of this one kind of felt spring. It really did kind of feel summery also, but I've just been really in the mood for a sports romance because I recently read Face Off and loved it, so I'm wanting to get more into the sports romance. And I've heard nothing but good things about this series, so I'm really excited to get to it. Number 5 is Keeper of Enchanted Rooms by Charlie Ann Holmberg, and this is the first book in the Wimbrel House series. And this one is set in Rhode Island in 1846. And we are following Merritt, who is surprised to find out that he has inherited a house. And this house has been empty for over a century, but he is happy to call it his home. And then once he gets there, the doors slam shut behind him and lock him in. And then we have Hulda, who is trained in taming such structures to preserve their history and magic. And she advises Merritt that it would be best to make the house their ally and in order to do this, she has to move in. And this is a cozy fantasy, I believe, which I really love in the spring. I'm really feeling like I could use one right now. And this sounds unique and interesting to me. I'm really excited to give this a shot. And I've had this on my TBR for a while, so it is time to finally get to it. Next up is A Tongue So Sweet and Deadly by Sophia St. Germain, and this is the first book in the Compelling Fate saga. And in this one, we are following half-fae Alessia, who can compel anyone to do her bidding just by looking into their eyes. And then after a tragic accident, she is thrown into the Fae King's dungeons, and she is forced to swear a blood oath to him, binding her to his service. And then 5 years later, she lives among humans, and when the king comes to collect her debt, he wants her to infiltrate the human elections and find out if the current regent is involved in the strange things happening in the Fae court. And the cover of this one felt springy to me, the colors, the vines and flowers, and I just really need to get to this one. I've heard really good things about it, and I believe this is a finished series, which is really nice. And like I said earlier, Fae fantasy just feels spring to me. Next on the list is Hazelthorn by C.G. Drews, and this is a standalone horror book. I believe this is YA horror. And in this, we are following Evander, who lives with his reclusive billionaire guardian, Byron, at Hazelthorn Estate. And there are 3 rules that Evander has to live by, which is that he can't leave the estate, he can't go in the garden, and he can't be alone with Byron's grandson, Laurie, because Laurie tried to take Evander's life 7 years ago. And then when Byron suddenly dies, Evander inherits the estate and tries to figure out what happened to Byron. And the garden also starts behaving strangely. And the whole thing with the garden, I mean, that feels spring-like to me. I just really want to get to this because I read Don't Let the Forest In by this same author and really loved it. So I'm sure I'm going to love this one too. And I wanted to break up all of the romantasy going on in here and have something a little bit different. Number 8 is Rights of the Starling by Devney Perry, and this is book number 2 in the Shield of Sparrows series. And in the first book in this series, Shield of Sparrows, we follow Odessa, who is a princess. And Odessa's sister has been training her entire life to be the Sparrow, which is a princess that is married off to another kingdom to fulfill a treaty. But when the prince arrives, he decides he wants to marry Odessa instead. So she has to figure out how to be the Sparrow and how to handle everything that comes with that. And this one is a highly anticipated release for me this year. It's not out yet, but it's coming out in April. And the cover of this one is definitely springy. And I just really need to get to this one soon. I have to know what's going to happen because I absolutely loved the first book and it ended off on a cliffhanger. Number 9 is Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, and this is the first book in the Part of Your World series. And in this, we follow Alexis, who is an ER doctor, and she comes from a family of world-renowned surgeons. And she meets Daniel, who lives in a tight-knit town, and as she spends time with him in his town, she starts to realize what really matters to her. And she has to choose between him and his small-town world and her family and the opportunity to help thousands of people. And once again, small-town romance is spring to me. And I've been really wanting to try Abby Jimenez because I hear so many people rave about her books and I've never read anything from her. And this sounds like fun to me. We have a big city girl and a small town guy. I think this will be a fun time. The 10th and final book on here is Spring of Ruin by J.L. Vampa, and this is the 3rd book in the Sister Solstice series. And the first book is Autumn of the Grimoire. And in this we follow Agatha, who is a Sister Solstice, and that is one of 4 sister witches who each have a season. And during their season, they take their turn with the grimoire, and during their time, they have to do the grimoire's bidding. And Agatha has always felt that she gets the worst tasks from the grimoire. She has to start plagues, start wars, awful things. And this time, when it's her turn, she is sent to a kingdom where she is meant to marry the prince. And once she gets there, she uncovers some dark secrets that she gets wrapped up in. I mean, this one has spring right in the title. And each book is a different season, like we had Autumn of the Grimoire and then Winter of the Wicked was number 2. So I've just been reading each book during their season. And I've been really enjoying this series and want to continue, so I'm hoping to get to this one soon. But that is going to be the last book in this video. Let me know in the comments what books you're anticipating reading this spring. I always leave my Instagram and my Goodreads linked in the description if you're interested. And I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I hope to see you all in the next one.